Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Hey Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Hey Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hey Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari O Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Radha Kalachandji Radha Kalachandji Radhe Jai Radha Kalachandji Radha Kalachandji Radhe Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jai Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Jai Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Harinama Sankirtana ki Srila Prabhupada ki Gauda Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. What's that? So I start on 34. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, Text 34. Can you start?
O King of the earth, it has been decided by expert learned scholars that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, in whom all that is moving or non-moving within this universe is resting and from whom everything is coming, is the best person to whom everything must be given.
Whenever you perform some religious act in terms of dharma, artha, kama and moksha, we must perform it according to the time, place and person, kala, desha and patra. Narad Muni has already described the desha, place and kala, time. The kala has been described in verse 20 through 24, beginning with the word anna, visha, korea, vittapardina, kasha, and the place for giving charity or performing ritualistic ceremony have been described in the verse 30 through 33, beginning with Sarmashi Pushkadani Kshatriya Arthani Uta. Now to whom everything must be given is decided in the verse. Harir Abhaka Urvisha Onmayam Vai Charanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the root of everything, and therefore He is the past, He is the best Patra, or person to whom everything must be given. Bhagavad Gita, it is said.
I think we'll read the verses and and then we'll read the last purport. Can you read the text 35? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Text 35. O King Yudhisthira, the demigods, many great sages and saints, including even the 4 sons of Lord Brahma, and I myself were present at your Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. But when there was a question of who should be the first person worshipped, everyone decided upon Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person.
The entire universe, which is full of living entities, is like a tree whose root is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Achyuta, Krishna. Therefore, simply by worshipping Lord Krishna, one can worship all living entities.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has created many residential places like the bodies of human beings, animals, birds, saints, and demigods. In all of these innumerable bodily forms, the Lord resides with the living being as Paramatma. Thus he is known as the Purushavatara.
O King Yudhisthira, the supersoul in every body gives intelligence to the individual soul according to his capacity for understanding. Therefore the supersoul is the chief within the body. The supersoul is manifested to the individual soul according to the individual's comparative development of knowledge, austerity, penance, and so on.
My dear king, when great sage and saintly person saw mutually disrespectful dealings at the beginning of the Treta Yuga, deity worship in the temple was introduced with all paraphernalia.
Sometimes a neophyte devotee offers all the paraphernalia for worshipping the Lord, and he factually worships the Lord as the deity. But because he is envious of the authorized devotees of Lord Vishnu, the Lord is never satisfied with his devotional service.
No, I'm doing all of them. 2 more verses.
My dear king, of all persons, a qualified Brahmana must be accepted as the best within this material world, because such a Brahmana, by practicing austerity, Vedic studies, and satisfaction, becomes the counterpart body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
My dear King Yudhisthira, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord throughout the entire world, are recognized and worshipped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the heart and soul of all creation. The Brahmanas, by their preaching, sanctify the 3 worlds with the dust of their lotus feet, and thus they are worshipable even for Krishna. So did we all get the kind of idea? That's who's speaking first of all? What's that? Narada Muni is speaking to Yudhisthira Maharaj, and that was the last verse of the chapter. So usually when you have a conversation, the last thing you say is the main point, right? Usually you make a point in the beginning and then you fluff it out or you explain it, but then the last thing that you speak is like the conclusion. So this is the conclusion. The chapter is called Ideal Family Life. So Narada Muni is answering the questions of Yudhisthira Maharaj, and here he is giving the culmination of what is ideal family life. An ideal family life is, earlier it says to worship, to see the Lord, right? And the flow of verses that we just read, it says that you should worship Krishna because Krishna is the best person, and that Krishna is in the heart of every living entity, and therefore Krishna has created different bodies, and it said the bodies of humans, the bodies of birds, the bodies of animals, and Krishna is in all of them. And according to the capacity of each person's body or each individual's intelligence, then they can perceive Krishna within their own heart. And then it goes on to say that the Brahmanas are the highest of those persons who perceive Krishna within the heart of themselves and Krishna within the heart of others. And then as the verses go, it says that therefore the Brahmanas, they worship Krishna in the deity form, because the sages, seeing that there was discrepancies amongst different classes of people, they gave the deity form. And then it goes on to further say that those who worship the deity but don't see the deity or don't see Krishna in the hearts of others, they don't really please Krishna, right? And then the concluding point is saying, my dear King Yudhisthira, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord, throughout the entire world are recognized and worshipped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the heart and soul of all creation. So it's saying what? That we worship the Supreme Personality of God, the Supreme Person. That's the goal of all people and the goal of the Grihasta. But who's that person worshiping? That person is worshiping the Brahmanas or the devotees. So that's like the full picture. Now we'll read the, what do you do, the Mangala Charna first and then the purport? I forgot how things go. Read the purport? Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm doing things a little backwards. I started speaking first, but now, purport by His Divine Grace, Shilesi Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. So I'll read the last verse, purport. As admitted by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 1869, Na chat tasman manusheshu kaschin me priyakritamaha. The Brahmanas preach the cult of Krishna consciousness all around the world. And therefore, although they worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord also recognizes them as worshipable. The relationship is reciprocal. The Brahmanas want to worship Krishna, and similarly, Krishna wants to worship the Brahmanas. In conclusion, therefore, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas who are engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord must be worshipped by religionists, philosophers, and people in general. At the Rajasuya Yajna of Maharaj Yudhisthira, many hundreds and thousands of Brahmanas were present, yet Krishna was selected to be worshipped first. Therefore, Krishna is always the Supreme Person, but by His causeless mercy, He recognizes the Brahmanas as dearmost to Him. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 7th canto, 14th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Ideal Family Life. Om Jnana Timidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Everyone, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'll read the verse again. My dear King Yudhisthira, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord throughout the entire world, are recognized and worshipped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the heart and soul of all creation. The Brahmanas, by their preaching, sanctify the three worlds with the dust of their lotus feet, and thus they are worshipable even for Krishna. So here, Narada Muni is explaining through these different chapters what is the duty of everybody in society. The previous chapters, there was a description of what is the social orders, what is the spiritual orders, and now this whole chapter is for the Grihastas. Narada Muni is explaining exactly what is the role. Does anybody remember some of the things he spoke in earlier in the chapter? Prasad, that one should distribute prasad to everyone, even that the grihasta should care for the animals and see everybody that they're taking care, nourishing everybody. As we know that the grihastas are the only ones in the varnashram system that has a that earns, money, right? They're supposed to support all the others. The brahmachari, vanaprasthas, and the sannyasis are meant just to absorb themselves in spiritual sadhana, in spiritual activities, and the grihastas maintain. And what is the ideal occupation for a grihasta that Narada Muni gives? Does anybody remember that? Farming, right? It says that growing one's own grains, protecting cows, I guess, like the Vaishya, is the most honorable and most ideal form of grihasta life. Okay, so then it goes on that Narada Muni goes on to say that along with taking care of all other social orders in the varnashram system, that one's main duty is to worship the Supreme Person, and that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, should be focused on. But in the middle of the chapter, Narada Muni says this. This is text 17. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, is the enjoyer of sacrificial offerings. Yet although his lordship eats the oblations offered in the fire, my dear king, he is still more satisfied when nice food made of grains and ghee is offered to him through the mouths of qualified brahmanas. This is good news. That just like Narada Muni is giving the whole idea of sacrifice, that the grihasta is meant to sacrifice not only for the other social positions in the society, but also the animals. But then they should do the supreme sacrifice of offering things to Krishna. But then Narada Muni says that Krishna is more satisfied when you feed the brahmanas grains cooked in ghee, specifically. So just like the last point of this chapter, the last verse, is saying how Krishna is the devotee of his devotee, right? He worships his devotee. He's Bhakta Vatsal. He gives nourishment to his devotee, just like there's that one verse that says, one who says, they're my devotee, they're not my devotee. But one who says they're the devotee of my devotee, they're my devotee. So we shouldn't try to approach Krishna directly. We should try to approach Krishna's servants and the servants of Krishna's servants. And Krishna is declaring here that then I am satisfied, right? Just like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Yasha prasadad bhagava prasado yasya prasada nadagikutopi. That one who gives pleasure to my devotee, one who serves my devotee, then I give them my mercy, right? Then they get prasad. So this is the nature of personalism, and that, Krishna consciousness is all about becoming more sensitive to seeing the person behind all energy, all relationships, and seeing the mood, right? Service, what does devotional service mean? Service means to please, right? And the more we know the likes and the dislikes, the more we refine the desire to want to please the beloved, the more attractive and the more acceptable the service is. It's just like, you want the guru asks for a glass of water and we think, oh, I should give 7-Up, that's more tasty. And then you bring it and the guru says, I'd rather have water. So fine-tuning our mood and our service inclinations with the exact proclivities of the guru and of the devotees is what devotional life is about. It's about refining our sensitivity to see, okay, here Narada Muni is saying you should worship this as a grihasta or people in general. You should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead and do yajna to please that Supreme Person. And then it becomes more detailed or more refined, where then that Supreme Person is saying, actually, I'm more pleased if you serve my devotees. So it's just like we're worshiping the deity of Kalachandji, Radha Kalachandji, on the altar. But Krishna is worshipping, if Krishna had an altar, his devotees, and Krishna does. It's in the sense of, let's say, spiritual reality. What is going on in the spiritual reality is that Krishna is thinking, how may I please my devotees? Just like the devotees are eternally thinking, how may I serve and please Krishna? Krishna is constantly thinking, how may I give pleasure to my devotees. So I wanted to read a little from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which emphasizes how the Lord worships his devotee and holds that position as a devotee as the highest reality. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 6, text 100. So I'll read a few verses and then we can discuss. So it says, Krishnada samatta haita bada bhakta pada atma haita Krishnada bhakta haya prema spada. The position of being a devotee is higher than that of equality with Lord Krishna. For the devotees are dearer to Lord Krishna than his own self. Purport. The conception of oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is inferior to that of eternal service to the Lord, because Lord Krishna is more affectionate to devotees than to his personal self. In Srimad Bhagavatam 9.468, the Lord clearly says, Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madanyate na jananti naham tebhyo managapi. Quote, the devotees are my heart. See, it says here, it's not that they are in my heart, but the way that it's translated here, the devotees are my heart, and I am the heart of my devotees. My devotees do not know anyone but me. Similarly, I do not know anyone but my devotees. This is the intimate relationship between the Lord and his devotees. I'll carry on with a few more verses. Lord Krishna considers his devotees greater than himself. In this connection, the scriptures provide an abundance of evidence. O Uddhava, neither Brahma, nor Shankar, nor Sankarshan, nor Lakshmi, nor even my own self is as dear to me as you. And this is Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 14, 15. The sweetness of Lord Krishna is not to be tasted by those who consider themselves equal to Krishna. It is to be tasted only through the sentiment of servitude. This conclusion of the revealed scriptures is also the realization of experienced devotees. Fools and rascals, however, cannot understand the opulences of devotional emotions. Baladev, Lakshman, Advaitacharya, Lord Nityananda, Lord Shesha, and Lord Sankarshan taste the nectarine mellows of the transcendental bliss of Lord Krishna by recognizing themselves as being his devotees and servants. They are all mad with that happiness, and they know nothing else. What to speak of others, even Lord Krishna himself becomes thirsty to taste his own sweetness. He tries to taste his own sweetness, but he cannot do so without accepting the emotions of a devotee. Purport. Lord Shri Krishna wanted to relish the transcendental mellow of a devotee, and therefore he accepted the role of a devotee by appearing as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Lord Krishna accepted the position of a devotee and descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya, who is complete in every respect. He tastes his own sweetness through the various emotions of a devotee. I have formally explained this conclusion. Purport. Lord Chaitanya, who is known as Sri Gauda Hari, is complete in relishing all the different mellows, namely neutrality, servitorship, fraternity, parental affection, and conjugal love. By accepting the ecstasy of different grades of devotees, he is complete in relishing all the mellows of these relationships. All the incarnations are entitled to the emotions of devotees, There is no higher bliss than this. So this is the reality of the Lord and the devotee's relationship, is that each one is thinking of how to give service to the beloved. And Krishna, as Bhaktavatsal, he is just overwhelmed with wanting to serve and please his devotees. Just like I was reading in this book by Shivaram Swami about Damodar Leela. And when Mother Yashoda was waking up baby Krishna, that Krishna, looking at the face of Mother Yashoda, he's explaining how he comes overwhelmed with spiritual emotions of love. Usually we hear about how the devotee, when they see the beauty of Krishna, they, become overwhelmed and have ecstatic symptoms and whatnot, and they get inspired to do so many services. But here, the opposite is also true. Krishna seeing his mother, who's sometimes explained prema personified, that she's love personified. She's to please her Lala, please her Krishna. And Krishna similarly, he's totally infatuated, if you want to say, totally in love with Mother Yashoda. Just seeing her cheeks, it was explained, he becomes overwhelmed with how she loves him and how he wants to please her. And he can't, like when she goes into the other room, he can't tolerate not seeing his mother's beautiful face, love personified. So this is the higher taste that we're all hankering for, is that sweetness and love in relationships. In the material reality, it's tit for tat most of the time. We think, okay, if I do this, then I expect this. If I try to open up and give myself in love to a family member or a loved one, then I expect something in return. And with this attitude, there's always frustrated sentiments. There's always disappointment. But in the nature of spiritual service, we see that it's an ever-increasing competition, right? The devotee is trying to please Krishna with all their existence, with everything they got, and Krishna's reciprocating. Just like in Bhagavad Gita it says, Krishna's saying, as those surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly, that everyone follows my path in all respects. So it's a matter, just like and there's this phrase, it takes two to tango. So there's Bhagavan, there's the Bhakta, and there's Bhakti, the transaction, the loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. And this is what devotional life is just always increasing. Like Vaisheshika Prabhu likes to say, always better service. So we're always trying to see how can we qualitatively and quantitatively offer more loving service to Krishna. And Krishna is giving us an insight to his what's the most tender part of the body, or where all the energy emanates from, is the heart, right? So Krishna is saying, the devotees are my heart. He's giving us the exact spot to target. So if we want to please the Lord, we try to please his devotees, and they work as a team, just like they say. It said, Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prashadi by Bhakti Lata Bij, that the Guru is giving Krishna, or first of all, Krishna is giving the Guru to the devotee, and then the guru gives us Krishna. So both things. It's not sometimes when we don't see the whole picture, we think, okay, I just serve the devotees, but I don't serve the deity, or but no, it's both. We serve the devotees to our best capacity, and simultaneously they want us to serve Krishna. The devotees tell us to worship the deities. The devotees tell us to chant Krishna's holy names. They don't say, just like Lord Chaitanya, he chanted Gopi, Gopi. He was in that mood, right? Of Bhagavan, of our God, showing love to his devotees, and the highest devotees are the gopis, and he was chanting gopis. But we are asked by Lord Chaitanya to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in one way we are doing it to please also Lord Chaitanya, who is in the role of a devotee. So simultaneously we're serving the Lord by following his instructions. And then how did we hear about that? From Prabhupada, from the devotees. So we're following the instructions of the devotee. So we're also serving the devotee. So any thoughts or realizations on these points?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Jagaranga Prabhu, for a very sweet class.
Thank you.
I was just looking at the last verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita that you read. The little purport there says that all the different incarnations of Lord Vishnu, it says they have the right. So assuming they take that right, but they come and play the roles of devotees. They descend as devotees. And it says that when an incarnation of the Lord gives up understanding his godhood and plays the part of a servitor, he enjoys a greater taste of transcendental mellows than when he plays the part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I just thought that was really interesting, because we hear about how Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, right? And he's the enjoyer and we are the enjoyed. And sometimes it seems like we got the short end of the stick, because he's getting all the enjoyment and we're just being enjoyed. Can almost seem like a little exploitative, right? But it's just interesting that when the Lord comes as a devotee, he enjoys himself more than he does when he comes as the Lord. So it just shows that actually the position of a devotee is more enjoyable than the position of being God. So
that's the whole momentum of that chapter also, of showing. I think that's like that one verse that says that now we've turned our face away from Krishna, Bahirmukha, how does it go? But that our faces are turned away from Krishna, so we're thinking how to enjoy separately. And that's what the whole material reality is about. Is not seeing our service position as the real bliss, but turning away thinking we'll find pleasure separately from our intrinsic devotional service bhava, or our swarup. They're thinking, let me be the Lord, let me be the separate enjoyer. And then we get what we get. We get birth, death, old age, disease, and we get 8,400,000 species of life of all varieties of so-called separate, pursuits of pleasure. So we're, we have to be kind of hit over the head about the fact that real pleasure is in trying to give pleasure to Krishna. We don't get it, even as, devotees practicing for whatever. It has to be reinforced that Krishna is hankering for that experience, so much so that he becomes, although he's eternally Lord Chaitanya, he becomes Lord Chaitanya to taste what is it like to be in the position of a servant of myself. What is that bliss?
It just shows that Krishna is so amazingly kind that he, he creates all of us for his enjoyment, but he gives us the opportunity to enjoy more than he does. Know what I mean? It's kind of like if you have a servant in your house and then, they're helping you so much doing all different household services and things. And then you're so grateful to them that you give them better food than you eat yourself. You give them a more comfortable bed than you have yourself. You give them, different things in their life that are beyond what you're enjoying. It's like no one would expect that. That's the kind of like dream master, But Krishna does that. Who else does that? No one. Only Krishna.
That's awesome, yeah. Anybody else like to share something? Baladev?
The ideal family life, the Narad Muni instructing Yudhishthira Maharaj. In our life, even Yudhishthira Maharaj was such a great devotee, but he really being a devotee, he follow all this varnashram system. But in Kali Yuga, look like people like us is hopeless because we cannot become a good Sudra. In those days, Sudra is also a good standard. So I was just thinking, it looked like very impossible because Krishna said, Brahman is very dear to me, because Brahman has quality. They do really sacrifice when it comes. It is for society, for the Lord. That's why he is very dear, Krishna said. And let anybody can dear, because Brahman has a good quality. Of course, we try to Vaishnavas, we have to develop more quality. So how does it really, in our hope, how is our hope that we'll be able to please Krishna? Because...
I hear what you're saying. I think, like Prabhupada Priya is saying, how amazing and wonderful Krishna's personality is, that he's simultaneously, you see all these things in the Vedas, that there's so many rules and regulations and very lofty qualities that one has to develop to be on the platform of a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, but at the same time, then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, or fruit or water, I will accept it. So in the same mood where Krishna says that, that all these sacrifices that we may perform, he is more pleased. He's telling us exactly what pleases him more. We may do all these things to please him, but I'm more pleased if you serve my devotees. So Prabhupada has given us, so many different activities of how to please him. So, we can't do all of them. Some devotees, hone in on some. But any service, just like Prabhupada says, that even a child can do. If you come before the deities and you just show some enthusiasm in a kirtan and you clap, right? The potential is that clapping before the deity, that noise, all sins vanish. That paying your obeisances, circumambulating Tulsi, all these seemingly very simple things give so much spiritual benefit. So simultaneously it seems like it's a very lofty thing to become pleasing to Krishna, but it's also just a matter of wanting, just the sincerity of the soul, a little child. It's like if your son, one of your son does something for you, even if it's not like they say sometimes, if like, let's say the son cooks a meal, maybe it's not cooked the best, but you're satisfied, you're touched. Oh, my dependent has tried to do something to please me. So Krishna is a soft-hearted, playful, loving person, and any amount of any approach on any level, Krishna is ready to reciprocate. What to speak of Krishna's devotees? We see the accommodating nature of Prabhupada and Prabhupada's devotees. If we approach them with a gift, with our attention, it's also a service to hear. I was hearing, to hear the words of the spiritual master when they speak, when they do Shravanam Kirtanam, that is a service, to listen. That doesn't take much. But then to apply it, that's next step. But it's Krishna's rasaraj, or the loves to reciprocate on any level. That's his playground, so to speak, right? He's in the heart, like it says here, he's in the heart of every living entity, just waiting for loving reciprocation. And one sentiment, one little devotional sentiment of the jiva, Krishna's like, let's go. And we'll create some circumstance to reciprocate with that. Bring us to a devotee who can guide us more, give us an opportunity for service, give us more opportunities for service. And then it's unlimited. So sometimes, I feel that too. Sometimes, how can I please my guru? He's got all these projects. Or how can I please Prabhupada? He likes book scores. He likes, numbers. He likes making devotees, preaching, harinams, temples, restaurants, these things. That's there, the big things that are unlimited. And then also the small things too, just appreciating, just being grateful for what Prabhupada has done in our lives. That is also pleasing, to appreciate what Prabhupada saved me from so much misery in life. So yes, start with small devotional sentiments, and then we keep building on it. But then, no matter what, the devotee always feels indebted, or always feels, like Lord Chaitanya is expressing, I don't have any love for Krishna. If I had one drop of love, then I wouldn't be alive, right? And Lord Chaitanya was in the topmost example of one who's absorbed in loving Krishna. So we'll always feel that. We'll always feel unqualified, not reciprocating with Krishna enough, because Krishna is reciprocal in giving us so much mercy, so much. Anything else? Dharashaya Prabhu?
It's a universal principle that giving love is even better than getting love. Even the Christians say it's more blessed to give than to receive. So that's there in Krishna. He comes as a devotee so that he can give love.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Prabhupada Priya.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it's the nature of pure love is that you just want to make the other person happy, So Krishna has so much love for his devotees. He wants his devotees to be happy. And Krishna has an unlimited capacity to love and to give happiness. And Prabhupada once said that the closest thing to pure love in this world is a mother's love for a child. So, if we see like a mother, let's say she's making toast for breakfast or something. So then one piece of toast comes out nice and golden brown, and the other one comes out kind of black, like it stayed in the toaster too long. Okay, so she's got a burnt piece of toast and a golden brown one. So one is for her and one is for the child. Which one is she going to give the child? The nice one, right? It's just a no-brainer that she's going to take the burnt one and give the kid the nice one, because that's the nature of love, is that you want, that person to have the best thing. So we see here that Krishna, he loves his devotees and he wants his devotees to have the best thing. So the best happiness that's possible to be experienced is that happiness that's experienced by the devotees of Krishna, more even than Krishna. Because that's the nature of Krishna. That's the nature of his love for his devotees, is he wants them to enjoy more.
You just reminded me when Krishna says, "Na paryeham," that I can't, you've indebted me by your service, I can't reciprocate. You've outdone me. The love that you've offered to me, I cannot repay, even though he's unlimited. Like you're saying, he's the source of love, unlimited potency to love. But then he says, please be satisfied with your devotional let your service itself. So that's when we have service, then we know Krishna's given us that loving reciprocation. And then other times I don't have nothing to repay you, that I can only give you myself, Krishna says sometimes, right? Which is what the devotees want. We don't want anything else. It's like they said, the Prabhupada disciples, they say, we just wanted to see Prabhupada smile. You do something and Prabhupada was pleased with you. Was they give their whole life, unlimited lives, just for a smile. So the same as you see, eventually you will do something to make Krishna smile. Any other things? Chelsea?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for a nice class. So many wonderful points. Everybody, all the nectar, everybody was churning. And the points about how mother serves the child. What my takeaway is that ideal family life, how in the conclusion it is that serving Krishna is most pleased when we serve the devotees, and those that are chanting and glorifying and spreading his holy name are the most. So that is my takeaway, and the mood of the mother serving the child. Those are two very wonderful takeaways. Thank you.
Yeah, just on that point, I was thinking that because the last verse was all about preaching, so like ideal family life is when you see the whole world as your family, and it's like if you have one child in the family that's doing okay, but then you have another one that's struggling and suffering, depression or difficulty, then your attention is going to go to the one that's suffering more. So yeah, a lot of people suffering in this world. An ideal family life is that we see beyond, what Prahlad calls the dark well. We kind of like get out of the well and we broaden the scope of our vision, our compassion, our care, and try to help those who are suffering.
My dear Radha Kalachandji, if you so desire, please empower all of us to share Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's message, Prabhupada's love for you. Thank you for considering this prayer. Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki.